So a little project I've been working on, I call it the Camp Axe. And essentially what it is an axe I designed that's really a hatchet head paired up with a much longer than typical hatchet handle. So your typical scout hatchet, something like this, about a 14-inch handle, and you can see there's a substantial difference there. How does it compare to something like the Grand Spores or Wetterling small force axe? Well, I had put together one previously with about a 19-inch handle, and as you can see, there's a pretty substantial difference in length there. And what I found in using that originally is that you're not really going to use it like I might use my boy's axe at home, two-handed. It's just silly, really. And so you end up, if you're using it two-handed, to get a little extra power chopping or not get fatigued with one hand, kind of holding two hands on top of each other, and they end up cramped after a while, and it's not the most comfortable thing in use, I found. So I took this to camp once, discovered I didn't really like it too much. I wanted a longer handle more than I wanted the packability and having the ability to choke up on it comfortably. So I made this a nice thin handle, as you can see, in both directions. So it's got some flexibility. The handle's light, and it's comfortable in use when you're coming down the handle. It's not overly thick. It doesn't feel awkward in use, especially in extended use. And so what I did was I took a pretty typical hatchet head. It's about 5 inches in length or height, and about a 3-inch bit. It's a little longer in each direction, but that's just to give you a general idea. And it ended up being about 25 inches overall length, from the top of the head just down to the bottom of the handle. And it's about 24 from the top of the head to where your hand's going to grab it. It's also a very lightweight axe. If you can't tell, it comes out to 2 pounds on the nail on my fish scale. So it's probably relatively accurate, right around 2 pounds. So that's about a quarter pound less than a boy's axe head alone without the handle. The boy's axe head usually ends up somewhere north of 3 pounds. So the reason for this is I wanted something I could take to camp. It's still light enough, still compact enough. It's a little harder to pack than typical hatchet or even a small forest axe-sized axe, but I find it really worth it when you're going to be using it for limbing and splitting and chopping tasks. And the reason being is if you're working on wood that's on the ground and you're going to be swinging downward, it gives you a lot more reach and it's more comfortable over the long term. You don't have to kneel down to use it. You're not hunched over as much as you would otherwise be with a shorter handle. And like I said, it's actually usable two hands to get a decent swing. The reason I went with this particular head is it's a bit longer than some other ones you might come across, and the profile on these is pretty fantastic. They're also rather easy to find in good condition, just because they made them well, I should say, for a long period of time. So I have some of these dating way back to probably early 1900s, all the way up until I would say 70s, late 70s even, which is pretty awesome. So it's an American-made axe head, and they made them for a long period of time. So the newer ones, like this is a True Temper Kelly Wood Slasher paper label. It has 4 ridges in the eye, so it's pretty easy to spot. Really nice profile still, good steel. I beat the ever-living daylights out of it, chopping on some really well seasoned, petrified practically, oak over the past weekend, and it held its edge surprisingly well. So I'm really happy with it. This video I'm just going to show using it around the house for what I would probably typically use a boy's axe for. We had a storm blow through, and so I've got some deadfall in the yard, and I just needed to process that down, and instead of throwing it out at the street like most of the neighbors do, I toss it in my wood pile and use it to roast hot dogs and marshmallows with the kids.